Hello and welcome to another episode of Discover with Sbenati. We have a very special guest, as we usually do. We only bring on extremely special guests, and today is absolutely no exception whatsoever. Today is a story of a man that started in Damascus, Syria, where I'm from. So it is a little bit emotional of a story, and but it is a very, very nice story because it will empower you to think very, very, very differently. He's a man that thinks in terms of progress and happiness and wants to spread messages to people who think that they have no hope, because he's a message of hope. He came from Syria, became a refugee in 2013, went to Lebanon, and then he'll explain his story. I don't want to take from his story, but then through applications he came to Canada. They didn't put him in Toronto, Canada. They put him in basically in the middle of nowhere, as he describes it very vividly and very truthfully. Antigonish, Nova Scotia, which I'm sure most of you haven't heard of, and they flourished because they have this mentality. Him and his family, they have a mentality of that anything is possible as long as you have the willpower to do it. So, without any further ado, Tareq Hadhad, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you have to go and your time is very limited, so please just give us a little bit of a brief synopsis of of your journey. Sure. I know you have a lot to give, but I do have a lot of questions, so other people can benefit from your knowledge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for keeping the introduction very sweet and concise. My name is Tareq Hadhad. I was born in Damascus, the city that you are from as well. We were living the dream in Syria, kind of. My family were pretty successful in the business that my father launched in 1986 as a chocolate maker. And the company really grew pretty quickly in Damascus. There was so much appetite for chocolate in Damascus at that time that my father has put his fingerprint in the whole community. And then I was born because my parents actually met over a box of chocolate. Like, my father has given my mother a box of chocolate, and that's actually how they met. My mother took the box home. She opened it with her family. They loved the chocolate. She came back. She knew my dad, and they got married. Yeah, so that's how I was born. I grew up in the love of medicine, while my family really had passion in making the world a happier place with chocolate. And the story continued as we were living in a community where we found family as a whole were around us, wherever we go, right? In Syria, family is everything. And these deep connections within family members are very valuable because you feel the sense of safety and peace and support. Everyone is around you to help, right? Whatever challenges and troubles you have in your life, you know that your uncle or your cousin, whoever in your family, will be with you. They will support you, they will walk the path with you, and they will even walk through the walls with you, wherever you want. And that really gave us some sense of, let's do it. Persistence, determination, motivation all the time to do everything we want in life. And that's the mentality of my dad as well. With my mother, when they grew the business from one shop in Damascus to distribute everywhere in the Middle East by 2008. So, a chocolate empire, and myself getting into med school and getting my dream almost achieved. But in 2012, the war kind of reached Damascus and the suburbs that were close to our home. Then by the middle of the summer, we lost our house. And then early 2013, my father was working in the factory. I was having a training session in one of the Damascus hospitals, and I called my dad. I asked him to leave the factory because I was watching the news, and I told him that in the news they said that the area that the factory was in is going to be bombed. So my father was working with his employees, and I told him to leave. He didn't really believe it. Everyone has left. He had so many employees. Everyone has left in the factory. My father was the last to leave, and 10 minutes after my father has left, the factory was bombed by one of the most powerful explosions in the whole of the Syrian war.
Oh my goodness.
And my father didn't know what happened until he came back home, and he said, "Oh, I survived, nothing happened." I said, "Dad, but did you see the pictures?" He said, "What happened?" I said, 10 minutes after you left, you can see, I showed him, it was posted on Facebook. And he couldn't believe it. You know, it was unbelievable for him. So he went like 3 days. He didn't speak to anyone. He was speechless. He said, "Everything has gone. Everything has gone."
Because you described it as he was in shock.
He was totally in shock with my mother as well. So you know, we decided that even though we lost everything, but Syria was our homeland that we wanted to stay in, because we wanted to see the country flourishing. We wanted to see the country safe. We wanted to see the people there free. We wanted to see the country as one of the greatest country on earth. That's why we decided to stay early 2013, until me and my brother were talking on a sidewalk in Damascus. I was in Baramka, where there was a mortar rocket hit near me and my brother, and I was injured in my leg, and my brother lost his consciousness. I carried him. We ran into the house, and I told my family, it's not time to do business, not time to do medicine. It's time to survive. So the next morning, my father...
I want to pause right here.
Sure.
Because this is very, very crucial. So the entire time, since you were born, you described it as your parents they wanted you to become a doctor.
That's right.
Because like any kind of, Middle Eastern
That's
family,
the typical Syrian mother.
You either become an engineer
or
you
a
become
physician.
That's right, or a doctor.
Yeah. And you know it, like.
And you were bred to become a physician. So this was your whole life's journey.
That's right.
And you had to put that on pause or even stopped it in order for you to save your family.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. I mean, you have a dream that you had to crush in order for you to put your family on top of it. And then after that, then you decided that, it's time for you to put your priority for your family first. And then you left your dream, and then your journey started. But I wanted to emphasize that because a lot of people, when they hear your story, I don't think they even clue in that you were preparing yourself your entire life. That's right. To become a certain personality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You stop your identity for your family. Here, the Western culture, they don't. It's more of an individualistic culture.
Yeah.
Whereas we're in the Eastern culture, it's more of a family-oriented culture. So the Western mentality here is more of, I have to take care of myself. I have to do what I have to chase my dreams, right? It's not I have to take care of my family first, right? So whoever's watching this or listening to this on the podcast, if you're going through anything right now where you think that your dreams are being shattered,
right?
It's not the end.
Never.
Because as long as you have your house, as long as you have your family, then you've got it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to emphasize that. But please.
No, absolutely. This is a great point. And what I would say is, you have to be adaptive in life, and you have to be flexible. Don't get it too hard. Go easy, right? Because if you are so hard on yourself that when you are in a tough position, at a blink of an eye, on the split of the moment, that you lose everything, then your life will end for you, and you will have no hope at all. To rebuild yourself will be much harder. But if you are flexible, you work so hard for your dream, but you expect the worst at the same time, that's when it's easier for you to pass these challenges and troubles that they happen unexpectedly for you. And that's the way that it happened in Syria. I said to myself, we lost everything, but we are alive. We are not dead, right? And we are, I was a young man, and we are still a young man. But I said, there's still time to rebuild what was destroyed. And at the end of the day, that was a lesson for us to run our lives differently, because I always believe that the best is yet to come. So whatever I started in Syria, there are always learning curves all the way. So when we left Syria after that explosion in Damascus, in downtown Damascus, that affected me and my brother, we went to Lebanon. And when we arrived in Lebanon, you know how hard it was when there were the influx of hundreds of thousands of Syrians at that time. They were called refugees. I went to the UN a day after I got my certificate. I told them, well, I don't like it, really. How can I help? Then I joined local relief teams in Bekaa Valley in Lebanon. Then I went to Beirut. Then I volunteered with another organization, with the UN, with WHO, with another big organization called URDA. And we were kind of working to get help in healthcare to Syrians. So I didn't play the role of victim.
And that's amazing because I was actually introducing you before you came to the podcast. And I find that so fascinating that even though by the standards of society, you were basically at the bottom,
That's right.
despite you being at the bottom, you didn't see yourself as such.
No.
And you said right now, you said you refused to be a victim. You refused to see yourself as a victim.
Yeah.
And you actually, even though you're at the bottom, you went and helped out everybody. Or you tried to help out as much people as possible.
Yeah.
So the second day, you went to the UN
That's right.
to volunteer. And what made you want to do that? What made you want to, instead of woe is me, instead of getting this whole mentality that I've been struck, God doesn't like me, stuff like that. what made you think more progressive?
Yeah, it's all about attitudes.
Right.
Life is about perspective and perspectives. And I believe at that time, I just said to myself, even though we lost everything in Syria and we don't know where we are going after that, but we didn't lose our talents and our knowledge. That's really important. Like, whatever happens to you, whatever you were learning, whatever happens to you, you will never forget, right? How to be a dentist. Wherever you travel now in the world, wherever happens. So I thought the same way. Like, maybe we lost everything, but I wanted to be active. I just don't like to deactivate myself, whatever happens. And whatever, all of the people that they will hear this, whatever happens to you in your life, always go back to the basics of your values that you were born to live, and see yourself in others, and see yourself in helping others. And that's really a value I learned from my family is whatever we have, how much money we have, it doesn't matter. What matters is we were able always to help others in Syria and outside Syria. And we took that perspective with us to Lebanon. And we believe if you help others, it will be one day that others will come and help you. And that's exactly what happened, because we were helping others in Lebanon, and Canadians just helped us. And that group of people in Antigonish where we landed, we'll come to this story, they helped us. It's a law of reciprocity. That's a general rule in life, right? Law of reciprocity, whatever you give, you will get back. So we helped others in Lebanon, and that's nothing I would really brag about, but it's something I was honored to do. And later on, I decided that, we no longer really want to stay in Lebanon, because my family were basically living such a hard life, and whatever you do, you will always be in risk. You'll always feel anxious about what's next. You can't build for the future. And that's why I decided that my family should travel and should leave Lebanon by the end of 2014. And that's really an exciting story of how everything happened. You never know. You can never imagine how this whole journey came into life. But it's God's arrangement. Because when I was in Lebanon, when you see there are millions of people trying to flee. Flee Lebanon, flee Turkey, flee Jordan. There are 60 million refugees trying to go and find a place of resettlement in the first world countries. And when I saw that, it was really I was encouraged. At the same time, I decided that I can't do it. I was in my office around 9 p.m. I was in Hamra in Beirut, in downtown Beirut. I went down and I got a taxi from Beirut to Saida, which is a 40-minute drive. And at the same night, when I was thinking I can't do this, the cab driver I was with, he told me, well, hey man, like what's going on? And I said, well, I really just want to get my family out of here, but I just decided it's not possible. He said, how do you believe that? And I said, well, I tried. He said, okay, just go and figure out, apply for a scholarship to go to Canada under the program of WUSC, which is the World University Services of Canada. I applied and I forgot about it. A few weeks after, I got that email that my application was really good. I was invited for an interview. I couldn't believe it, so I went to the interview. It was really about my goal, and my intentions that didn't fit the criteria of the interview, but my name stayed at the embassy. And 1 month after, they called me and they invited me and my family to travel to Canada, which is something that millions of people in the Middle East, they dream about. And that all happened because of that taxi driver, right? At the same night that I just decided I can't do this, and I lost hope, I lost the belief that this is possible. that taxi driver was sent to me. So they're always really, they're very interesting steps in the whole journey, but that one thing would make me always believe that the best is yet to come. So, it's very interesting. I arrived before my family. We arrived later in 2015, even though our application was there from March 2015, it took like 6 to 8 months. I landed in Toronto having no clue where I was going to, having no idea. They didn't tell me. I got that envelope. They said, don't open it until you arrive. So I have that envelope with me. I didn't open it. I have no idea about where my address is.
So
I thought
they gave you an envelope that you didn't open?
No, they asked me. They asked me
Okay.
do not open it.
Okay.
So that was
like Mission Impossible.
that was really mission impossible. Yeah.
Okay.
So I landed in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
I was the first to land from a plane that was greeted by the Governor General at that time at Pearson Airport, and I thought I'm staying in Toronto. That's why I landed in Toronto. I'm staying in Toronto. So I was happy. I arrived at my hotel and said, yeah, okay, I'm going tomorrow to my home in Toronto. They called me and they said, Tareq, just prepare yourself. Tomorrow we'll pick you up. Your flight is tomorrow to Halifax in Nova Scotia. I said, come on, guys, I want to stay in Canada. And they said, well, Halifax is in Canada, just on the other side. I flew in the next day, arrived in Halifax. This amazing, enthusiastic, energized, warm, welcoming people. They were there carrying signs, welcoming me with flags. Like I felt myself really, I was like the prime minister in the Halifax airport, because there were so many people waiting there for me with signs and welcoming and just singing.
Really?
Yeah, and they were really lovely. And the thing I thought about it is, this group of people, they arrived at the airport. It's 2 hours away from Antigonish, which is the town I was going to after I arrived in Halifax. And they didn't care about anything, basically, except that I'm a human being. And they really thought that, let's give these human beings the opportunity to live again, to build a life for themselves. And I was that person that they were asking for. I was just surprised how the whole country was on the hype to welcome Syrians at that time. Like, the whole country, you remember at that time of 2015, 2016. So I was really honored. I landed in Antigonish, and the whole town was preparing for my family to arrive 2 weeks after. I was, the funny thing is, when I arrived in Antigonish, my family at that time, they didn't know even where that is or where are we going to be, and they asked me to send pictures.
Yeah.
So
you just send them pictures of snow?
No. I said, my mother was on the phone, and she said, son, send me some pictures of the town. And I said, Mom, no, I'm not going to send you pictures right now. So what I did is I Googled Antigonish in the summer. I downloaded all the pictures. I sent them to my mom. She was stunned.
Yes.
Like, she was absolutely impressed.
It's
it was
beautiful. That's right.
beautiful in the
That's
summer.
right.
Yes. Nova Scotia is stunning, summer and the fall.
Yes.
And when she arrived on January 7th, in the middle of the blizzard, with my father and my 4 siblings, they were really surprised. Like, the next morning, they were like, there was a meter of snow that needs to be shoveled. They loved the snow at the beginning, then they hated it after three days, as every Canadian. Now every Canadian is excited to see the snow.
That's right.
They act as surprised,
yes.
right? Everyone acts like surprised, and then they hate it right after. So basically, my family arrived, and we had one mission. There's one tagline for our whole journey since we came to Canada is, we did not come to Canada to take jobs from anyone. We came to Canada to create jobs. And we live by that every day, right? So whatever we do in our daily lives, we say, I did not come to Canada to go to apply for a $12 job. We know that we lost everything in Syria, but we didn't lose our skills, our talents, our hopes, and whatever we want to do here. And it's just because we know that we can add much than than applying for jobs that are easily taken, right? We know that we came here with talents, we came here with skills, so let's do something by ourselves and build a brand for the family. And that's when we started Peace by Chocolate.
That's right. So your dad has an entrepreneurial spirit. Very deep-rooted.
Absolutely.
It started in 1986, and you said it started to flourish in 2005?
Between 2003 2005
It really flourished.
was really, yeah.
So I mean, so you guys do have a lot of experience in that. So you guys came with that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't come with the mindset that all is gone, all hope is lost.
Yeah,
More like, okay, well, let's restart and let's rebuild it.
totally. Yeah.
And you said something really beautiful. And you said that we didn't come to take jobs, we
Right.
came to create them,
Mm-hmm.
which is not your typical response when someone loses their entire livelihood.
Yeah.
Right. So that's an inspiration to people that who feel that they've lost everything. And I think that in perspective, people that are in Canada have a lot of opportunity, and it's for them to actually see it in themselves. And what you say all the time is you like to help people, and I believe that there's a message there with Peace by Chocolate and helping people.
Absolutely.
And you can see it in your journey. As soon as you guys started the factory again, you guys help people again.
Absolutely.
So run us through again. So Peace by Chocolate, what's the message, and how did it get you onto the podium to meet the Prime Minister?
Oh, that was a very exciting story. But the reason why we started Peace by Chocolate, we were in the town. We started at the home kitchen, then a small factory, then we moved to a bigger factory. But the name was different. Like we created a different name at the beginning. It's got like a long name under the family name or something. And then we just realized that how should we be different, and how can we be remarkable and unique? Because chocolate is a very commercialized product. Wherever you go in grocery stores or wherever, like chocolate shops, it's very commercialized, and people really, they eat the chocolate, they love the taste, and they forget it. That's it, right? We wanted to add something to it, which is a message, and tell them, okay, you guys are eating chocolate, which is great. It's a product of happiness. We want you to be happy. Always remember a value that you have to remember every day, that keeps you alive, that keeps you connected, that keeps you getting your kids to school, that keeps you able to build businesses, that keeps you able to be free to go anywhere, anytime, to any place you want, which is peace, right? Without peace, I couldn't just sit with you here today and just enjoy the scenery out there and the life, and I couldn't just drive here easily. I couldn't land peacefully. It's really important, and that's where people really should remember every day. They should wake up and just remember it's really important to live by peace and spread peace. And that's why we call the company Peace by Chocolate, because without peace, no one can build anything, and it's the most valued and the most important thing to live by. And we recognize that people are really passionate about it, but it's intangible for some people. And some people, they forget about it because they take it for granted. Like so many people, they wake up, they take the time to wake up for granted. They take their house for granted. They take their business for granted, peace for granted. All of their life, they take it for granted, especially here in Canada, because there's nothing about the struggles that people in the third world countries, they live, or people in war zones, right? And people in refugee camps, or people around the world, because they don't know.
Right.
And we we wanted to add this to their mind, where in every meeting, in every bite of the chocolate bar, in every chocolate piece, they remember now. They remember the people that they are living all of these struggles, and they remember to be thankful. We wanted people to celebrate by chocolate, because chocolate is a product which symbolizes for celebrations, right? For something beautiful, for gifting, for sharing with others, connecting, which is really nice. It's a product by itself. It's valuable. Like, people really don't eat chocolate just to eat chocolate. They share it with their kids. They buy it for their kids. They buy it for themselves. They gift it, and that's another value. So we started in very pretty small. We just spread the story quickly in the media, and the way we started the company is based out of an initiative we launched in 2016 after the Fort McMurray wildfires that happened in Alberta. So we said, we saw Canadians fleeing their homes, losing everything, and there was a mother and her daughter that I saw on CBC, and my family were really very emotional about what happened in Fort McMurray. And there was a mother and her daughter in Alberta that they went out of their house while the fire was just in the neighborhood, and they were crying, right? They're saying, we will lose everything in the next 5 minutes. They know that the house will burn. Like, they know it. it's, it's unavoidable, like something is happening there. So we said, we just tried this. We knew 5 minutes, I knew 10 minutes before my father left the factory, that factory will be bombed. So we said, let's launch a campaign nationally. It was under the theme of peace, and we raised funds for the Canadian Red Cross and medical relief organizations and relief efforts to help the people that they fled. But since then we called the company Peace by Chocolate. The story reached to the Prime Minister's office then when he was in the United Nations in September 2016. He was there, we were watching the news like everyone else. We had no idea what he was going to talk about. And started talking about our company and our journey. And he was saying that the leadership of the community that brought Syrians to that town, that is 5,000 people only, and we started the business. We are hiring from the local community, we're giving back. It is the story of Canada. That's exactly how this country was built. And we just continued the success as we moved on in 2017, as we expanded the factory and we launched new campaigns for sure.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so now in 2019, where is Peace by Chocolate and where are you guys taking it?
Yeah, we had pretty special milestones in the journey so far. We had our chocolate sent to the International Space Station to NASA.
Wow.
Last year in 2018. So we were the first chocolate company to ship chocolate to space. And we got that funny email the next day. They were asking, how much do you ship to space? I would say we send by Amazon. So it was really interesting. Now our products are available in 1,000+ stores across Canada.
Wow.
Within Sobeys, Safeway, Thrifties, Foodland, multiple chains owned by the brand of Sobeys, but also we are available in gift shops. Most gift shops in Atlantic Canada will find us. We are expanding more into Ontario and the West. We are on Amazon.ca. We will be on Amazon.com in the next couple of days. But also we are always living by the value of becoming an everyday thing for Canadians. Like it's not only for holidays, it's not only for Valentine's or Easter. It's becoming an everyday thing, which is why we are now planning that Peace by Chocolate will be one of the top 5 chocolate companies in the next 5 years.
In the world?
In Canada.
Oh, in Canada?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we hope that this is...
in all of Canada?
Yeah.
Wow.
All across Canada. So yeah, there is a big work to be done.
Yes.
But we just want to build value within the chocolate business again, the country, so we really can recognize that, I don't have to buy that commercialized product that I can get for 99 cents. While I can buy this, it's a premium chocolate, very high end, and it's healthier, and it's tastier, and I'm adding, and we donate on every product. So much of the products we create, the first part we create, it's called Wantakudi. It means peace in indigenous language. Which is something that newcomers sometimes, they are asked about what's the connection between the newcomers and the indigenous people, right? And some people actually, they are busy in their lives, setting up their lives, and they forget to thank the newcomers, to thank the indigenous people first for welcoming all of these waves of immigration over time. And we know that there is lots of discrimination still against indigenous people and their issues. So we wanted to say, we newcomers, we care. We said that Wantakudi is the indigenous language for peace. The first part we created was in the Mi'kmaq, and we added 25 cents of each of the nitab bars, which means friendship in indigenous, goes to support indigenous culture and programs. So we created also peace bars in different languages of peace. Forgiveness, we say bury the hatchet, kiss and make up, forgive and forget. So if you have a fight with anyone, just give them forgiveness part so they can forgive you.
So hold on, let me try to understand something. So that chocolate bar or the piece of chocolate that has that message on it, that's the one that you donate 25 cents from the proceeds of that?
That's right, yes. It's called Nitab, and it's on our website. So yeah, we created multiple products.
That's amazing. I love those messages, and I love how you're giving back to not just people that are locally to you, like in Nova Scotia, but you're giving out to everyone. The indigenous population, which by and large are ignored by a lot of the people.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing how this is a story of Canada, really. How immigration, it allows people to prosper, but also allows people to help other people, even the indigenous population, who I think need a lot of our help. So
Yes.
I commend you, and I commend your family big time on this initiative. When did you guys start it? When did you guys start this whole, giving back for the indigenous population?
With the first product we created in the new factory was in September 2017.
Okay.
We created multiple products, but we have the Peace by Chocolate, and then we have a charitable society attached to the business. So proceeds of the business, they go to that society, and through that we partnered with the indigenous population. We partnered with Phoenix Youth Programs in Nova Scotia to help in the homelessness issue. We are now launching a big national campaign. It's called Peace of Mind, and the Peace of Mind is a partnership with the Canadian Mental Health Association, because we know the challenges of mental health across the country, and we wanted to support. If you are in Nova Scotia, there are only few places that you can go and seek help. So it's a really challenge, and we know mental health is a serious issue in Canada.
Of course.
Absolutely. So we wanted to say, this is a partnership. The bar is called Peace of Mind. It's in the grocery stores starting in January 5th, and it's $2.99 per bar in every grocery store. And on each bar, there will be donations going to the Canadian Mental Health Association. It will be between 25 to 50 cents on the bar. Imagine if all the country is supporting this initiative, we will create a splash out of it. So we hope that to get Canadian support from Canadians, from anyone here, because we believe that this is a mission that is at the heart of the issues that matter to Canadians right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I don't know if you know, but we do segments here as part of Discover with Sbenati.
Yeah.
So this one here, I'll definitely stress on it for sure.
That'd be great.
I'll do my best to contribute towards that effort. For sure.
That'd be great.
So just lastly, okay, so you have an amazing journey, and I know that your journey is maybe just starting because you're a very young man.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of aspirations and dreams.
Yeah.
Now, where do you see yourself, your family, your company, your family's company? Where do you see it in 5 years' time?
We certainly see ourselves expanding across Canada, but our main target really, since we knew that we have an opportunity to expand across the country, is we are now hopefully starting to franchise across Canada, but also to focus on the U.S. market starting in hopefully within 12 to 24 months, because we know that our message is much needed in the United States. Much needed in the United States. There's so many. And our chocolate was gifted to Nancy Pelosi. Maybe you haven't seen the video, but the Prime Minister Trudeau went to Nancy Pelosi after the Raptors won the game, won the championship. And in the basket were the T-shirt of the Raptors and all of our chocolate bars. And the Prime Minister told Nancy Pelosi about Peace by Chocolate. There's a very famous video. It was all over the news. It was on NBC, on CNN.
Wow.
It really broke through. And we were really happy that after that, Americans started asking, oh, what is Peace by Chocolate? Oh, these are immigrants. They are offering jobs. They are giving back to their community. They changed their perspectives.
Right.
And in 5 years, if you tell me that we changed the mindset of only one person, I would be thrilled.
That's amazing.
Absolutely happy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
High five for that. I'm serious. I love it. The thing that I love most about all your stories is that you're always smiling.
Yeah.
Like, so whether or not I can even imagine you coming out of Syria in a state of anxiety, of shock, of hopelessness, of panic. I can still picture in my mind that you'd be smiling.
Yeah.
So, somewhere there, in between all the cloud, Tareq is smiling.
Yeah.
And that smile, it's in itself.
Usually people are afraid to smile in front of dentists.
you have a very, very nice smile. You have a very nice smile. But that smile itself has a message.
Right.
It has a message of hope.
Right.
Now, can you give our listeners, can you give them maybe 3 top tips on what, if they're feeling down, what they can do to bring up their spirits and to keep going despite all the setbacks?
Right. Well, I would always say that look at the people that they are less fortunate, and look at the people that they are suffering the most, like whatever issues that you are really having in your day, Just look at the people that they don't have the basics of their lives, and look at them and get inspired by them, by their determination that they are always trying to live, right? They don't lose hope, and that's exactly how everyone should always remember. For us, really, we always see those that they are less fortunate as a way for us to continue it, also to support them, lift them with us. So, for example, that when we started the company, the first commitment we made in the beginning of this year was to hire 50 refugees by 2022 and mentor 10 businesses, offer for businesses our way of distribution and marketing throughout our channels, because we believe if you are successful, it's your responsibility to lift others with you to success. So I hope that everyone in their lives, they always see that does it really matter about what's happening in my day? It's not really a bad year, it's a bad day, right? Maybe. And maybe it's a bad hour, maybe it's a bad minute, you never know. And always remember my taxi driver story, right? I was at 9 p.m. Around Christmas time in 2014, losing every hope I have, every hope I have. Only 1 hour took it that I had that taxi driver, and he brought it back to me. I applied and I got here. I traveled 8,000 kilometers because of a taxi driver. So always look for the taxi drivers in your life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that everyone that's listening to you is inspired and has been uplifted by your story. For those that are watching on YouTube, Amazon.ca and soon Amazon.com will be selling Peace by Chocolate. You can check them out. The link will be down in the description below. Peacebychocolate.com and .ca. Peacebychocolate.ca. Are you guys gonna have .com soon?
Yeah.
You will? Okay. So for now, it's peacebychocolate.ca, and you can follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, and make sure that you give them a shout. I haven't tasted Peace by Chocolate yet. But I mean, just by his journey and by the passion that they actually have, I can tell it's going to be phenomenal. And I'm very grateful that Tareq Hadhad actually made time to come to the podcast. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again. Thank you again, Tareq.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll see you guys soon on the next episode of Discover with Sbenati.